Welcome, dear listeners, to another episode of Booklicious Podcast. In this podcast, we talk about books and comics. Today, we are talking about the book Talking to Strangers, What We Should Know About the People We Don't Know, written by Malcolm Gladwell. At the heart of Talking to Strangers is a simple yet powerful idea. Our ability to understand and communicate with strangers is fundamentally flawed. Gladwell argues that we make assumptions about others based on our own beliefs and experiences, which often lead to misunderstanding and misinterpretation. To illustrate this, he presented compelling real-life stories that showcase the consequences of our inabilities to accurately read strangers. One such story is that of Amanda Knox, an American exchange student who was wrongfully convicted of murder in Italy. Her case highlights how cultural differences, miscommunication, and conceived notions can have devastating consequences. Another striking example is the encounter between Sandra Bland, a young African-American woman, and Texas State Trooper Brian Encinia. Their seemingly ordinary traffic stop escalated into a tragic and unnecessary conflict, ultimately resulting in Bland's death. This incident underscores how our biases and assumptions can lead to disastrous outcomes in even the most routine interactions. Gladwell introduces us to two critical concepts that help explain why we struggle with understanding strangers: default to truth and transparency. Default to truth is our natural tendency to believe that people are telling the truth unless we have strong evidence to the contrary. This inclination can be both a strength and a weakness. While it fosters truth and cooperation, it also makes us vulnerable to deception. Transparency, on the other hand, is the idea that people's emotions and intentions are clearly visible in their facial expressions and body language. This notion, however, is largely a myth. Research shows that our ability to accurately read others is limited, and we often misinterpret their emotions and intentions. Gladwell also examines the concept of coupling, which suggests that certain circumstances or environment can influence people's behavior. This idea challenges the assumptions that people's actions are solely a reflection of their personality or character. One example he uses to illustrate is the story of Sylvia Plath, a renowned poet who died by suicide. Her death was not just a result of depression, but also the specific circumstances and environment she was in. Understanding this concept of coupling can help us develop empathy and avoid making hasty judgment about strangers. So another question arises: how can we apply these concepts from talking to strangers in our daily life? There are three key takeaways that can help us better navigate our interactions with strangers. One is recognizing our biases. It is critical to be aware of our own biases and assumptions when interacting with strangers. By acknowledging that we are prone to make mistakes, we can approach these interactions with humility and open-mindedness. Second is practice active listening. To improve our understanding of others, it is important to truly listen to what they are saying rather than trying to fit their words into our own perceived notions. Active listening involves paying attention, asking clarifying questions, and reflecting on what the other person is expressing. Third is embrace uncertainty. Recognizing that we can never fully understand other person's thought and feeling, instead of trying to force certainty. That is all for today's podcast. We hope you liked this review of the book Talking to Strangers, written by Malcolm Gladwell. Do check out the book and don't forget to subscribe our channel so you don't miss any upcoming review podcast. See you in the next one.